Actually, he was being brought by worshippers of Durga. They were going to kill him. And Maharaj, he quickly referred to this Leela because he's explained it before, like a few weeks back, he explained it.
I remember this.
And yeah, the point of the Leela, when he first explained it a few weeks back, he made the point that Krishna's will is supreme, and so that if someone was supposed to die, he would die. But if he's not supposed to die, he's not going to die. That was a few weeks back. And he gave this example of this Leela that there was a set of, he explained all these circumstances, but basically it boiled down to like this man, Jada Bharat, who was a devotee, was going to be brought to the
Kali sacrifice.
Yeah, to a sacrifice.
He brought to sacrifice.
To like the devotees of Kali or Durga Devi, they were gonna sacrifice him.
I remember that.
That's good. Yeah, they were gonna sacrifice him, but because the will of the Supreme Lord is supreme, he didn't want that his devotee would be sacrificed. He was protecting. And he saved him. And Durga, she actually, instead of killing Jada Bharat, she killed her own devotees.
Yeah. Oh, that was also you was explaining about the bride.
Yeah, this was
same time.
That was, he made it like a different point. This, when he explained it before, he made it one point, and then when he explained it this time, he made a different point from it. So this time he explained it. Yeah, it's like this time he said that he was making the point that Durga Devi, she's subservient to Krishna's will. So even though like these people were worshipping her, she was unable to kill this devotee of the Supreme Lord. And that even though like her devotees, they offer her so many things in their worship, it's like a bribe actually. They're just offering to her so that they can receive their own desires fulfilled, material desires.
That was that. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
I asked the other devotee about this bribe. But she said that to protect her position of demigod.
Also, this also, he said, like, it was the same, it was both. Because she said that, let me see if she also killed her own devotees because she wasn't willing to sacrifice her position. Like, it put her position in danger. And because Jada Bharat is a real devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna, he's in a higher position than her devotees. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then Maharaj made like a material example with police, but I don't think I'm going to go into it because just continue to move along. Okay, so then this is this really sweet
before is about Brahma.
Yeah, we were talking about Brahma before. We had just said how for those of this material world that the family life is like a prison, and jivas who have attachment for these bodies and their families will only go more and more into bondage. But that if a person is having attachment for the devotees of the Lord and for the Lord, that at that time they start to come out of this attachment, and there's those, and they as they accept all the favorable things for bhakti and reject all the unfavorable things and begin to hear the pastimes, especially of the pastimes of Krishna and Vraj, then at that time they will, even if they're in their householder position, they'll become like a sadhu. So then Maharaj said it doesn't matter of what position one is in life. Once he gets attracted to the lotus feet of devotees and the Supreme Lord, he becomes so enchanted that he gives up everything. And then he referred to this verse called Hari Rasa Madhiram, that when one is able to taste and drink the wine of Hari Ras, what happens? He gives up everything of this material world. And then he said, like Advaita Acharya Prabhu, when he was informed by Haridas Thakur that Nityananda Prabhu was going to the drunk people like Jagai and Madai. Drunk, like they're intoxicated.
Oh, Nityananda Prabhu drunk.
Well, in a different way, but but this is first
with Jagamata together.
Well, what happened is that Advaita Acharya, what happened is one day Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu were going around distributing the holy name. And they went to an area where there's two drunkards, drunk people, always intoxicated, very, very wretched, fallen, sinful people, named Jagai and Madai. They were brothers. This is in Navadvip. And there was no sin they hadn't performed. No sin. Many people feared them. But anyhow, Nityananda Prabhu desired to go there to distribute the holy name to them. So when they first went, they were chanting Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, and Jagai and Madai heard this thing and came out, and Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they had to run because they were threatened. They had to run away. So Nityananda Prabhu, he's very lean and thin because he's like an avadut. He's just very thin and lean, and he can run very fast. But Srila Haridas Thakur, he couldn't run so fast. His body wasn't so fit. So they escaped from Jagai and Madai, but Haridas Thakur, he was very disturbed after this happened. And after they went to Advaita Acharya. And Haridas Thakur told him what happened. And said that I don't have, my body's a little bit more fat and I couldn't run away, and I won't go back out with that Nityananda Prabhu. No.
我話我咧係咁肥啊，我跑得唔快啊，我唔會再同阿啲吞吞伯伯一齊去玩啊。
He went to these two
去傳
drunkards.
教。
He told Advaita Acharya he went to two drunk.
佢係去到兩個醉酒鬼度嚇，
It's not proper.
係唔係好啱？佢向佢哋傳教係。
And Advaita Acharya said, "Oh,
我覺得係出嚟就話啦。
today you are seeing two drunken persons,
佢話
but
今日
tomorrow you will see three."
佢話今日你見到兩個醉酒鬼啊，但係聽日你會見到三個。
So,
所以咧，
what does it mean?
咩意思咧？
It means that Nityananda Prabhu, Jagai and Madai,
係啊，
all three will be dancing together in ecstatic kirtan.
我話聽日你會見到三個，就係呢吞吞納伯同卓吉麥丹咧，佢哋咧聽日會一齊咧，好似齊眾聲明啊！
And that's what happened the next day.
呢件事真係發生咗。
So earlier, Jagai and Madai had been drinking this like wine of the material world, like
呀
yeah.
之前咁卓吉麥丹佢哋即係飲咗呢個物質上面嘅酒啦。
But by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, they were able to taste this transcendental wine, and then they were all dancing together. All three like drunk people. Nityananda Prabhu.
因為就呢吞吞納伯有錢啦，咁所以咧佢哋咧就俾咗佢哋咧能夠好似飲咗啲甘露啊，成為咗三個好似沉醉喺聖名嘅人咁樣係齊中聖名啊，又跳又唱。
個古話係邊個講嘅呀？聽日有三個最嘅係邊個講嘅呀？嗰句話。
唔係 Haraj 講㗎呢段嘢，佢講翻前日啊講嗰段嘢。
就我知道就講，佢當時咪係有一個講今日係兩個最舉明日三個，
係啊
咁古為馬拉字講嘅。
係啊。
咁啊有另外有一個，或者係你哋阿伯夫講嘅，係隻邊個講？
哦，呢個係阿 Sridhar 阿 Vita 伯夫講㗎。
維塔伯夫。
阿 Vita 佢哋咪佢嗰個 Haridas Thakur 咪肥肥地走咗去阿 Vita 伯夫阿 Acharya 嗰度避難嘅。咁啊阿 Vita Acharya 就話啦，佢話之前佢話你今日見到兩個啦，聽日咧你就會見到三個醉酒鬼㗎啦喺度啊，真係聽日第三個喺度唱歌跳舞咯。
係啲錯㗎啦，跟住係最係啲，跟住係攞創新名嘅最
係啦。
嗰個係邊個講嘅？嗰個
阿 Vita Acharya。
哦，阿 Vita Acharya，佢就喺附近一啲。
係啦，佢匿去嗰度話，佢話我就唔會同嗰啲吞吞納杯再去傳教㗎啦，
Yeah, actually, I had thought it was.
佢哋傳教咁樣，咁阿 Vita 就話講俾佢聽咯。係今日嗰兩個醉酒鬼
just
啊，
this one I just listened and recording.
Yeah, no, my mother said that.
Maybe.
係啊，佢哋唔簡單，佢哋神嚟嘅，佢哋哈利
So then, we see that in this material world,
快啲聽我講嘅。
OK，
So everything-
所以你見到呢個物質世界咧，
okay, we see that in this material world, the result of drinking wine is very painful afterward.
所有啲人咧飲咗呢飲完酒之後，其實係好痛苦嘅。
But
但係咧，
this Krishna ras madhira,
呢一個 Krishna 嘅拿沙嘅甜美
This
嘅甘露嘅
transcendental
酒
wine
啊，係好超然同埋神聖嘅。
if one drinks this,
如果每個人飲用呢啲嘅甘露，
even though at the time of drinking it, it may seem that it is very, very difficult to give up like all of our attachments and this and that of this material world.
初時飲嘅時候咧，可能咧都未必能夠放棄晒世俗一切所有嘅依附嘅。
But afterwards, the result is very, very good.
但係之後咧，嗰個嘅結果成果咧係會非常之好嘅。
Haribol.
Good,
So, yes.
good 。
And then when one becomes a devotee,
當一個人成為奉獻者之後咧，
after this, they want to do more and more service to devotees and to the Lord. And this becomes the cause for attaining Krishna.
呢個就佢哋好想不再一再咁樣繼續去做服務啦。呢個就係 Krishna 俾嘅源頭啦。
So then Srila Maharaj, he spoke about that even
馬哈就講啦
sannyasis
話嗰啲雖然係啲係神鴉時
Who are-
係真啦，
in this Varnashram Dharma, they desire to take birth as grihastas like the Vrajavasis.
甚至嗰啲嘅神雅士啊，喺呢個咁嘅年代宗教裏邊，甚至都希望投身咧喺呢個成為呢個華贊嘅居民。
But sannyasis here, they give up so much of this material world.
喺而家嘅神雅士咧，佢哋放棄咗好多物質上面嘅所有嘅嘢。
They perform many austerities.
做好多苦行啦。
They give up their 6 urges of the mind and
六種出癮啦，心意啊，
the senses.
感官啊嘅出用啦。
But even though giving all of this up is very difficult, somehow they desire, even though giving up all this is very difficult, somehow they escape all these things and they accept the lotus feet of the Lord.
係咪咧？呢啲嘅放棄咧，其實唔容易㗎。但係咧，佢哋都願意去放棄一切嘅嘢咧，係嚟到至尊主嘅蓮花足面前。
I don't understand.
He's just making the point about what sannyasis do. They are renunciants. They give up all these things in order to accept the lotus feet of the Lord as their boat to cross the material ocean. Like they give up all these things, material things, and they accept the lotus feet of the Lord. It's a simple way. And then, but even these sannyasis are they're not superior to the grihastha Vrajavasis. The Vrajavasis are more superior to these
Which
sannyasis.
kind of Vrajavasi he's speaking this time? What kind of Vrajavasi?
He says grihastha Vrajavasis. So like householder Vrajavasis, like gopis.
Oh, that's Vrajavasi.
Gopis. He didn't say, but he said grihastha.
Yeah.
So I think it must be gopis.
Yesterday
Any grihastas, like all the not all, but many of the Vrajavasis, I guess, are like grihastas, like their family. They have like a family life, you know. So many Vrajavasis.
Yesterday,
Motherly gopis, other gopis.
Yesterday, Maharaj mentioned about the grihasta when they are sincere, bhakti, they're more.
I was
like
wondering
sadhu.
which
Yeah.
Vrindavan, there or here?
And then he gave the gallons to
That's my,
grihasta.
yeah.
You know?
My question. Goroka Vrindavan or here? Vrindavan Grihastha Vrajavasi.
Yesterday class, at last, he gave the gallons to 3 grihasta.
He gave what?
The gallons.
To sannyasis?
No,
To
Grihastha.
grihastas? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because yesterday he said grihasta, if he practice sincere,
Can be both
pure,
meaning, no?
he will become a sadhu.
This word.
Yes.
What he said yesterday.
Yes, he said that if they're sincere and they don't have false pride, like then they can be more than
Doesn't
more
matter.
than
The
a
sadhu.
they can
Doesn't
become
matter the
sadhu.
position.
Doesn't matter. So he had made the point the day before, and then yesterday he really made it more and more clear.
呢度因為唔知道佢講華贊嘅居民咧嘅居士咧係咪黃姑娘啊，或者係啦咁咧，但係就係華贊，佢哋都希望佢投身喺華贊，成為華贊嘅居民。
So those sannyasis, they think,
嗰啲神去絕憎一就諗啦。
oh, how fortunate these grihastha Vrajavasis are
呢啲嘅不執當時咧，嗰啲嘅居士係幾咁幸運咧？
that you, Krishna,
話 Krishna 你喎，
are becoming completely controlled by them.
你完全咧被佢哋所控，被佢哋嘅愛所控。
So those Vrajavasis, they are so powerful and so superior.
嗰啲嘅華贊嘅居民咧係非常之嘅有能力啊，非常之嘅大能啊。
They are residing in your dham,
佢哋咧係居住喺你嘅
your
居所裏邊。
your abode of eternal residence.
你係咧佢哋嘅永恆嘅居所。
And then Srila Maharaj, he said that this geographical Vraj is not Vraj.
佢話呢個華贊咧並唔係 Raj。
Yeah, he said that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he spoke about Svarup Damodar Goswami.
聽話哈巴布就講緊 Swarup Damodar。
Yeah, he said that actually Svarup Damodar Goswami, he is a Shuddha Vrajavasi. He is pure Vrajavasi.
佢話咧 Swarup Damodar 咧就係純粹嘅不執巴士華贊居民。
But even though externally Svarup Damodar, he never visited Vrindavan.
但係咧佢咧從來咧未去探訪過地球嘅 Vrindavan。
He was always either in Jagannath Puri or before that I don't know where he stayed, but yeah. But he never visited physically Vrindavan Dham. But in his heart and in his meditation, he was always in Vrindavan. He was pure Vrajavasi. Lord Mahaprabhu spoke this about him.
係那呢塔呢維沙卡啊嘛，係咪？喺啲係抗戰之前。
Swarup Damodar.
那呢塔係維沙卡啊嘛。
Yeah, it's Lalita Manjari
Lalita Saki.
喺呢個
Not Manjari, Lalita Saki.
Lalita
Saki.
Lalita Saki 喺 Krishna 司徒食光裏邊。
佢就喺雲打雲過啊，那呢塔係嘛？所以擔個大咁啊呢個。
She say when she is Lalita, she live in Vrindavan.
What?
When she's Lalita, she is in the Vrindavan.
Oh.
佢而家話緊馬哈巴布年代，佢係 Swarup Damodar，佢
佢就冇嚟過雲打雲。
Yes，係
Okay.
very good。
Okay. So,
Okay.
and then Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. Prabodhananda.
Prabodhananda
Yes.
呢個
Prabodhananda Saraswati.
Saraswati Thakur
Yeah.
呢個人呢，
He actually never visited Navadvip Dham. He always lived in Vrindavan while he was here in
咁
this
佢
world.
當佢係在世時候，佢從來未去過 Navadvip，佢只係喺 Vrindavan 裏邊。
But in his writing,
但係咧喺佢嘅著作裏邊咧，
he glorified Navadvip Dham in such a wonderful way that he was considered like a resident of Navadvip Dham.
佢咧喺佢著作裏邊咧，佢係好美麗咁樣咧，係寫呢個 Navadvip 嘅事情咧，榮耀佢哋咧，好似喺 Navadvip 一樣。
So these Vaishnavas,
呢
these
啲嘅
in our
Vaishnavas
Guru Parampara,
係喺我哋嘅傳系裏邊嘅。
they give us this example of what is a real Vrajavasi, someone whose heart is in Vrindavan.
佢哋俾我一個好好嘅例子，就係話點樣為之華讚居民嘅，就係話佢哋嘅心啊係永遠咧係喺呢個聖地裏邊嘅，雖然佢身體未必係喺嗰度居住。
邊個嗰個？
And that's why we sing this kirtan.
呢個聖人咧個名頭先講個名，我哋所以咧呢啲嘅 kirtan 咧。
That's why we sing this kirtan about Dhamera Svarupa something. I don't know. Anyway, we sing this kirtan, oh, when will the day be mine when the Svarup of the Dham, the real internal personality of this Dham, will manifest in my heart and I will become a servant of Radharani.
佢話何時咧？所以呢首歌又話何時咧能夠呢啲嘅聖地咧，佢哋嘅形象同埋佢哋嘅展示啊，能夠咧係展示俾我，能夠係去咧係去服務咧Radharani。
So then I think Srila Maharaj, he just spoke some short time about when they would go on parikrama to Vrindavan Dham and what that was like. He said there was a Hindi poet that wrote about Vraj, that what is Vraj? Oh, the water there is very salty and there's so many thorns in the forests and you can't walk.
咁咧，佢即係兩都講過啦，就係話Maharaj咧，佢朝聖嘅時候咧，有一個詩人咧喺度講㗎，佢喺度榮耀緊呢個聖地咧，佢話咧有好多嘅樹啊，但係好多嘅刺啊咁樣樣。
So like, this is an external understanding of Vrindavan.
呢個其實係一個外在描寫一個Vrindavan嚟嘅。
But when they would go on this on Vrajamandal Parikrama,
真係朝聖嘅時候咧。
back in that time, they used to have to bring instruments with them that were specifically for removing thorns from their feet because they would go on parikrama and so many thorns would come in their feet.
咁咧，佢真係朝聖嘅時候咧，佢哋要帶啲工具咧嚟到掹嗰啲刺嘅，掹嗰啲腳嗰啲刺嘅，因為咧而且佢行朝聖嘅時候咧，真係有好多刺咧係吉佢哋。
Yeah, and he said only maybe 1 or 2 people from Punjab would even come to perform the Vrajamandal Parikrama. Many didn't want to come.
好多人都唔想嚟嘅，只係1、2個嚟嘅啫，因為有好多刺嘅。
But those who did come were very, very happy.
哇！ 嗰啲真係嚟到嗰啲人咧係非常非常之快樂嘅。
And they used to wander in the camps at Parikrama at night. Like they had 18 different camps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they would come, like everyone would just wander about chanting Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. Yeah.
佢哋好似 118啊。
18, yeah.
80
118.
咁佢哋咧夜晚係會搭營嘅，咁大約有18個營啦，裏邊住好多人啦。咁咧佢哋會喺夜晚嘅時候咧，喺兩營裏邊咧係整晚咧都喺度係唱 Radhe Sham Radhe Sham 係非常之嘅靈感同靈性同埋好陶醉。
So Lord Brahma,
所以主 Brahma 咧。
He's not praying to these Vrajavasis that are only there in physical residence of the Dham. He's not giving like prayers to like those who just reside on the Dham physically. He's not praying to them.
佢唔係咧係向嗰啲咧住喺華贊，而家呢度嘅華贊嗰啲嘅居民咧係去獻上禱文嘅，佢唔係去。
But he's actually, Lord Brahma, he's praying to these pure Shuddha Vrajavasis, those whose heart has manifested, like in whose heart the real Svarup of the Dham has manifested. He's praying to them.
佢係向嗰啲咧，佢哋內心係真係有佢哋去向嗰啲純粹嘅即係奉獻者，佢哋有內心咧係真正有聖地咧係。時喺佢內心展示嘅嗰啲嘅收集者，佢哋係向佢哋咧係獻上禱文嘅。
Because Maharaj, he mentioned that even dogs who reside in the Dham, they have some sukriti, that's why they took birth in the Dham.
佢話咧嗰啲嘅狗啊，喺聖地嘅狗啊，佢哋喺聖地出生啊，咁佢話佢哋都係有日，因為佢哋有個 sukriti 啊，所以佢先至會喺聖地裏面出生。
And many people also are like this. They have some sukriti, but they're not pure devotees. Shuddha Vrajavasis.
佢哋咧都有啲 sukriti 先能夠喺聖地出生啊，但係咧佢哋唔係純粹嘅 Shuddha Bhakti，唔係純粹嘅收集者。
So again, he put the point that the devotees are not dependent on any ashram, whether they're brahmachari, grihastha, sannyasi. They're not vanaprastha. They're not dependent on this.
佢話奉獻者咧係唔會咧係去依靠依賴咧任何嘅廟宇嘅宗派。
And just according to their affection for the Supreme Lord, this decides whether they're superior or inferior. Like whether they're what level of devotee they are. Yeah.
佢根據住佢哋對主嗰個唔同嘅即係嗰個奉獻愛心嘅程度咧，就去佢哋有唔同嘅
and then
程度嘅奉獻者。
he said Krishna performs these leelas as a play and as a pastime only to give us some shiksha, instruction.
咁咧，主咧去展示呢啲嘅逍遙時光同埋啲嘅遊戲咧嚇，呢啲嘅遊戲係目的係俾予我哋呢啲嘅 shiksha。
And in a play, you might see that someone can act in such a way that even if you know that person, you won't be able to recognize them while they're in the play.
我甚至咧，你玩佢呢啲遊戲裏邊咧嚇，I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, so say there's a theater or a drama. Let's say there's like a drama, a theater drama.
佢一個劇院裏邊嘅呢啲戲咧嚇。
And one of your friends is playing in the drama.
你嘅朋友喺嗰個喺度演呢個角色咧。
It might be that he's acting in such a way that you don't even recognize him.
甚至佢扮演呢個角色咧，演到好投入咧，你甚至認唔到佢嘅。
So someone you know, you might not even recognize when they're in a play.
當呢個遊戲裏邊咧，或者呢個話劇裏邊咧，你係認唔到你嘅朋友嘅。佢係演得咁好，演得咁投入。
But those who are very close to them, they will be able to recognize very easily.
所以嗰啲對同佢哋好即係好親密嘅人咧，好熟嘅人咧，佢哋就可以認得出佢哋啦。
So those who are very dear to the Lord, they can understand the Lord and His pastimes, but not anybody else.
Yes, only the devotees. 只係嗰啲認識主嘅人咧，先至去認識呢個係主嘅逍遙時光。如果唔係咧，其他人係唔知道嘅。
And that was the class for you. That day, that was finished the class.
呢個就係
That day.
yesterday. 就係前日嘅課。Very good. The last point.
Good. Okay.